Hey friends, come on in. Let's have our live Q&A show. Today is Monday, July 15th. And before you know it, the summer is going to be over. And we're going to say, what in the world? What happened? Come on in, join me today. I'm Latoya McBean Pompey, an immigration lawyer in New York, working with clients nationwide at McBean Law to help our clients solve tough immigration problems, friends. We believe that freedom is now. Freedom is now. Freedom is now. Immigration freedom, that is. So if you also believe that freedom is now, just type in freedom now, freedom now, freedom now, freedom now. And let me know who is watching and where you're joining from this afternoon. Freedom now, freedom now. It's good to see you guys. Freedom now. Freedom now, freedom now. Hey there, Shahid. Thank you for being with me. Hey, Charmaine, nice to have you with us. Charlie, freedom now, freedom now, freedom now. What a weekend we've had, right? My goodness. If you were part of yesterday's special live session that I did about the Donald Trump attempted assassination and what it means for immigration, let me know that you saw that. You were with me on Sunday in a live session, and it's a great discussion. You guys, if you've missed it, go back and watch yesterday's live special session, because in that special session, friends, I reminded folks what the agenda is for under the Trump campaign, and what I went into a lot of details about the platform to light a fire under you, to get your house in order, that now is the time for immigration. And there was a pivot this weekend from the campaign standpoint, politically speaking. There was a pivot, and I talked about that pivot in yesterday's live session. And I also talked about why you've got to get your house in order right away. Hey, Nicole, right away, not as a scare tactic, but as a wake-up call to have an intelligent discussion with you about what's going on, what it means for immigration, and that you guys have got to get moving. Okay, freedom now, freedom now, freedom now. I see that Texas is in the house, New York, Jamaica. Freedom now. Kwaku says that he was part of the live yesterday. Charmaine was part of it. Thank you. Hey there, Karine. Thank you, Nicole. Good to see you. Freedom now. Houston is in the house. Houston, Texas. We have a lot of clients from the Houston area. So if you're in Houston, Texas, or the Dallas, Fort Worth section, reach out to us. We work with clients in your area. We work virtually with all of our clients. We're located in New York, in White Plains, New York, but we work virtually with our clients, and we've been getting it done for them. Freedom Now Invisible says that he saw yesterday's live session. Thank you guys for taking time on Sunday to be with me. Thank you, thank you. Freedom Now, freedom now. And so in today's session, I'm going to answer your immigration questions. And for the next maybe 20 minutes or so, I have consultations right after this one. Friends, if you have an immigration problem that you'd like to discuss with us, we're here for you. You can meet with me. You can meet with my colleagues. Their calendars, they're ready to go. They are ready to assist you with your immigration case and get things moving for you in the right direction. Reach out to us at 888-462-4006 for a paid consultation with our firm. We start the consultation fee at $250 for my colleagues, and then $300 for me. Freedom now, freedom now. So get your meeting in, or go to McBean Law website at McBeanLaw.com and request an appointment with us. I see that Jordan Middle East is in the house. Thank you for joining. What's today's chat about? Their creative is asking. It's about your immigration questions, okay? Today is a Q&A, live Q&A show. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Freedom Now, Ernestine, Liberia, hey there. Arizona is in the house, upstate New York, Florida. We have clients in Florida as well. We work with folks from Florida. Freedom Now from Antigua, one of my favorite Caribbean countries to visit. Jamaica being the first because I'm Jamaican born, and in my biased opinion, Jamaica is the best place to go for vacation and the good vibes and everything. And we were there just a couple of months ago, Freedom Now, for our annual visit to Jamaica. So Freedom Now to all my Jamaican folks. Okay, so let's get into your immigration questions, okay? So let's see. Izzy says that I've been here in the United States for 32 years. My brother was killed by a U.S. citizen in 1995. Can I qualify for a U visa? Thank you so much. And Izzy says that he or she has asked this question in the past, but I've never answered it. Thank you for continuing to ask, because that's what this is about. When you have hundreds of people watching, you've got it. I'm doing my best. So thank you for continuing to ask. As far as the U visa is concerned, Izzy, this might not work out for you. It depends on what. First of all, it's been a very long time. But that's not even the biggest issue. The biggest issue is, were you somehow part of what happened? Were you there? Were you connected? Were you a victim as well? Because the U visa, the crime victims visa, is a terrific opportunity to become lawful here, to get a lawful status, and then ultimately apply for adjustment of status if you're eligible for the U visa. But it comes with some requirements. Specifically, you have to have been a victim of a qualifying crime, and or a close family member like a child or a spouse, but are victims. You're able to be qualified for this if you could prove that you were somehow connected to this and you were a victim as well. You can reach out to us for a discussion, but it doesn't sound like this opportunity might be something that you could take advantage of. But get a consultation in if you'd like to go deeper with us to learn more about this crime. Freedom Now, come on guys, Freedom Now, type it in, Freedom Now. Let me know how you're feeling on this Monday and where you're joining from. Why are they holding back visas for family members who have filed legally and paid in the system, yet people who break the law and came across the border, they are giving them a green card? So I would like to know where you're hearing that information from, where you're getting that misinformation from, I should say, that they are giving people who come in illegally at the border a green card. That's false. That's false. Getting a green card after an illegal entry into the United States is not something that is attainable by 99% of those people that you see who come in illegally at the border. It's very, other folks who come in that way will tell you it is difficult. It is difficult, and many of them are stuck for many years in the United States because they did not enter with inspection. The only opportunity that these individuals have is to apply for asylum, and for many of them it's an economic asylum case. It is not a real asylum case under our law, so they are not approved for the green card. Okay, so don't be discouraged by what you're seeing, thinking that they have an advantage over you who are trying to do things the right way, because it is not easy to get a green card after an illegal entry. Freedom Now, guys. Freedom Now. Freedom Now. Call us at 888-462-4006 after today's session to book an appointment with an attorney to go deeper about your case. Thank you for all who are watching. Freedom Now. Freedom Now. Freedom Now. Mabel says they've booked. You have a meeting with me next month. I look forward to meeting you, Mabel. Thank you for that. Freedom Now. So Mabel, you hold on to your questions. Hold on to your situation until next month, okay? Freedom Now. Freedom Now. Freedom Now. Thank you. Thank you. Let's see. I've been waiting for almost 5 years for an answer from immigration regarding my 290B appeal from status change. That that's quite unusual and unreasonable. And I have never heard of anyone waiting for 5 years for an answer from a 290B motion to reopen or reconsider. You could speak with us about what's going on there, and whether your case is, you should have at least at a minimum have sought a FOIA, Freedom of Information Act request from the government, asking for your records to see what's going on. Is it really there pending? There are things that can happen to inquire into that further and to push your case along. For us at McBean Law, once in a while, when we have a case that when people come to us with these long pending requests, we try to go through our Association of Immigration Lawyers Association to see whether our liaison can do anything on our behalf for the client to intervene at the field office level with the field office director to say, hey, this is unusual. Something is going on here with this one. Please take a look at this file and see if there's anything that you can do about this. Now, we don't make that type of request frequently. We will not do that for everyone who is just waiting for their case to be processed. Not at all. But there are times, very, very, we do it very, we're very picky about that process, but there are times when we've had to do that to get our client an answer or a movement on their case, and it usually works. But you should be speaking with someone. You could speak with us about what could potentially be going on with your 290B that is pending for so many years. Freedom now, freedom now, freedom now. So someone is asking, saying that they are a green card holder filing for a 19-year-old daughter who's studying in Malaysia. Should I use an Africa address or should I use the address in Malaysia? So just so you know, on the I-130 form, which I haven't looked at in quite some time, but the I-130 is asking for physical addresses. It's fine. The question is, well, with her now, she's there studying. She's just a student temporarily in Malaysia. Do you want, how many more years does she have to go with her program? How many more years are you expecting her to be in Malaysia? Because let's say she's a freshman and she has maybe 3 more years to go or 4 years to go, or whatever the case is, well, as in this category, green card holder pairing category, you'll have to look at the visa bulletin to see how long it's taken, how many years you're expected to wait, and then project out how long will my daughter be in this country. For a visa interview, for her to be interviewed there, is she likely to stay there and start working there after college? If that's the case, then you'd want her to be interviewed there. But just so you know, you'll have to put physical address and mail-in address on your I-130, and then dependent on where things are with the visa bulletin and how fast your case can be processed at the NVC and all of that, it's possible to move or try to transfer her embassy to another embassy later on in the process. That is not a process that I recommend very frequently. Why not? Because it slows down the case. It really, really slows it down, and you don't want your daughter's case slowed down. So when the time is right, if she's still in Malaysia and she's going to stay there for a little bit and the case needs to be transferred, that's something you could speak with us about doing. But for now, you've got to, map out where she is in her program. How many more years is she likely to be there and all of that? And then follow the form instructions for what address they're requiring of you right now, physical address and mail-in address, and indicate what those addresses are. Teresa's asking for me to predict how fast do I think the PIP, they will approve of PIP work permit under Biden's executive action. Teresa, I can't predict on that one. I don't know. It's a case-by-case review that they're going to make on these applications and use discretion about who to approve it, who should be approved for this. The PIP, for those of you who don't know, is the parole in place for spouses of U.S. citizens. We already have a PIP process for members of certain members of folks who are in the military. This will be similar to that process. And so it's hard for me to, I don't know what the volume is that the government is going to receive as far as applications. It's hard to say how long they're going to take with it, but it is a 3-year work permit that folks will get. Okay. Freedom Now, I see that Garland, Texas is in the house. How long before you receive the EAD and Social Security number after filing for your green card based on marriage to a U.S. citizen? It's fast. We've seen it happen fast, few weeks, and we've posted a few of those just to let folks know what we're seeing these days. So we've seen it happen within 4 weeks. We've seen 7 weeks. It's very quick, very, very quick, 1 to 3 months for most cases, 1 to 3 months. So very fast process these days. Thank you, Freedom Now, Freedom Now. Good afternoon, Moses. Thank you for being here. Hey there, Vendi. Thank you. Freedom Now. Albina wants to know, with an overstay visa since 2006, can I apply for a green card as an investor? So Albina, for the investor visa, you've overstayed in the United States since 2006. And the question really is, well, can you adjust your status or not? And you won't be able to adjust your status because of the overstay. The government will require you to go back to a U.S. embassy, your U.S. embassy back home, to finish this process, okay? And after you do that, but before you do that, you'll need to have a waiver approved to forgive you of the unlawful presence. Otherwise, you're going to be banned for 10 years from returning to the United States. That's the issue there. Freedom Now, I see that Freedom Now, Las Vegas is in the house. Thank you. Trevor is asking, do you like reggae music? You know, Trevor, as a Jamaican, I mean, come on, right? I mean, hello. That should be a given. Yes. However, do I really get down these days to anything? I don't even know what's out there. I don't listen to anything I don't really listen to anything recent, but I can really vibe to maybe some older stuff, just so you know. But of course, reggae music, but I'm not into like dance hall and all of that kind of thing. I don't know. I saw that on TikTok that Buju Banton is back with a concert. I don't even know any of his songs anymore. So I'm sorry to my Jamaican people, but I'm very conservative with my music. But I love reggae, love it. Freedom Now. Someone says, "Would you please enlighten me on?" And I love questions like that, by the way, that he just asked. Let's lighten it up. Let's lighten it up from time to time. Would you enlighten me on processing times for the F1 petition? Priority date is 2011. Your priority date is 2011 under F1. Well, you're aware of the fact, you should be aware of the fact that based on the visa bulletin, which I'm pulling up now for August, and I had a client in my office earlier today sitting right here in front of me, and we were looking at the August visa bulletin together. Come on in for your in-person appointments too. I'd love to meet you. And based on the visa bulletin, okay, it says here that for the F1 category, anyone who had filed their case before October 2015 for most countries, they're ready to go. You could move on with your case. But if you're from Mexico, that they're only up to the year 2002. If you're from the Philippines, they're up to 2012, but everyone else, it's 2015. So the question really is, where are you? Where are you? This is the category for unmarried sons or daughters of U.S. citizens, okay? So take a look at the visa bulletin. I see that Rochester's in the house. Guys, give me some hearts and likes. Let's see, Freedom Now. Freedom Now. Freedom Now. Hector's asking a complicated fact pattern that I can't really get into right now. If you like to stay in the if you'd like to leave the United States for any particular process, Hector, it looks like you have some issues here. You overstayed, and you may have unlawful presence on your record. I'm not certain of that, but you're talking about H-1B and EB-2 and all of this. If you'd like to have a one-on-one discussion with us to go through each of those options, that's the best thing for you to do. But certainly, as an overstay, you should not leave the United States without having a waiver approved first. And if you're going overseas for an embassy process related to like an H-1B, which would give you a temporary visa to work here in the United States, well, at that embassy interview, you'll need to present to them, Hector, the a waiver in hand at that embassy, and allow them to make a split-second decision on whether they're going to take it seriously and advance it to a second review. And once that other office does a second review of that waiver, if they give you the green light on that waiver, then you can get your H-1B and return to the United States. If they do not approve that waiver, then you're not going to be able to return to America, and not unless you are under DACA. You said you don't have DACA, but for anyone else who this might be relevant to, if they have DACA and they are able to pair it with advanced parole travel, which is very difficult because for DACA you get a very, very short travel window. So that it's usually very difficult to obtain to be able to come back in with no problems. So Freedom Now, can someone with a juvenile felony adjust status or qualify for the new PIP? I don't know what you mean by juvenile felony, okay? Don't know what that is, but just know that immigration will be looking at the criminal record very carefully to determine how to process the PIP or adjustment of status. You can speak more with us about what that juvenile felony is so that we could guide you appropriately. Thank you for that question, though. Freedom Now. What can I do if my case is taken long in administrative processing after my interview? After your interview, if it's taken, the U.S. embassies like to say, give us about a year, 12 months to make sure to process your case, to finish the administrative processing. I would say that if you're waiting a very lengthy time after that, then you can consider filing a mandamus, which is a complaint in federal court, demanding that they move your case forward to the next step. And we've done that successfully for clients in administrative processing. It works. You can talk with us further about your case, about the background there. Freedom Now. T-Visa, someone is asking about that. What is there to say other than it's a very difficult trafficking visa, very difficult to obtain. The government doesn't receive a lot of applicants because most people are not eligible for it. If you think that if you've been in a situation that with an employer and it was just, some things went on, like low pay, and you didn't like how you were treated, that doesn't mean that you have a T-Visa case. It's a very complex fact pattern to put together and convince the government of. And so it's not just about, I don't like my employer, I felt mistreated by him or her. It goes a little deeper than that. We're happy to talk with you further if you'd like a consultation about T-Visa. There's only about 5,000 each year. And like I said, the government doesn't even receive the number that 5,000. It's one of those where there's a low volume. Freedom Now. For anyone who's asking about anything on any sexual offenses and all of that, speak privately one-on-one with us about that. This is not the forum for those types of discussions, okay? We're happy to meet with you further to talk about things like that. So no need to continue to post a question on it. I do see the question, but let's just talk one-on-one, okay? Freedom Now. Carl says, I just got married in the DR. Does my wife's new last name need to be on all of the documents before we do the spousal visa? does her new last name. No, it's not. I don't. I'm one of those who say no, that's really not necessary. And by the way, that's your personal decision to make whether there's a name change or not. But you shouldn't let something like that slow down your case. And sometimes I see couples do that. They wait months to file because they want to do it. They want to add a last name, the wife's new last name, and this and that. But then it takes a while in that country for that new name to process. If it's gonna slow down your case, I would just say no to that. And if there's, at the point where there's a meeting for the immigrant visa, if there has been an official name change or anything like that, you could certainly update the government with the proper official documents at that time. But it's your decision. And some people say, well, because it matters for the green card, what name is on the green card, which, by the way, after getting the green card, you could also change your name on that too, down the road. But don't let things like this slow you down, because now is the time for immigration. Now is the time for immigration. Booker is asking, when will USCIS release the new parole in place in the Federal Register? It's been a month already. It hasn't been a month already. Today's July 15th, and Biden made his announcement on July 17th. How about that for precision? We're almost at a month, obviously. We're eager. The lawyers, we're eager. We're looking for it. We don't know. But what we do know is the State Department did say a little while back that within 30 days, they are going to publish their guidelines about the other aspect of what Biden talked about related to the work visa for those who are undocumented, like Dreamers, DACA recipients, and other undocumented individuals who have a college degree and they have a job offer and they'd like to get the H-1B or another work visa. That part, the State Department said they are going to issue their guidance within 30 days, and it's almost there. So we're watching. Freedom now, freedom now, freedom now. Someone is asking about the B2 visa. I'm not sure what you'd like to know about that, Moses. You could ask a question related to that. If you've overstayed your visa, could you file for permanent residency, and how? Yes, if you've overstayed a visa, you could absolutely apply for a permanent residency. I have a playlist out there on overstay visa options. There are many different options, many different ways that you could get your green card as a visa overstay. You could watch those options. There are options under the family system. There are options under the humanitarian system. It's limited under employment because the employment process will require you to go back overseas and be interviewed, and you will need that waiver. It's so annoying. That's what's stopping so many people. It's the waiver that they need to prevent them from being banned for 10 years. But yes, there are ways that you could get a green card as a visa overstay. Freedom now, freedom now. Now is the time for immigration. Now is the time. Can someone already went to federal judge and on deportation, can they renew their case? Marie is asking whether someone who has a removal order reopen their case. Yes, you can. I'm not sure what you mean by the federal judge. Are you saying that your case went out to the district court after your case was denied in immigration court? Whatever the case might be, you could still pursue reopening the case, and we've been doing that a lot for our clients across the country. You could reach out to us to talk about your background and how we might be able to assist you with getting the case reopened. Freedom now, freedom now, freedom now. Now is the time for immigration. Now is the time for immigration. If the I-601 waiver was denied due to inconsistencies between lawyer and DR and myself, just miscommunication. Will this affect PIP? Spouse is a U.S. citizen. Nothing else was done afterwards. If your I-601 is denied, and you should definitely consider a refiling of your case. You say the I-601, there's something, might be something on your record requiring the I-601, like, I don't know, fraud, misrepresentation, a criminal issue, whatever the case might be. A 601 was needed, and the way to get the green card was through the 601 waiver. I would want to know whether, I'm still here, I would want to know whether did you enter the United States with inspection? How did you enter the United States? Because PIP requires that you don't have that entry, that lawful entry, okay? So we'll need to examine whether you're eligible for PIP, firstly, and then secondly, what prompted you needing a 601 waiver. So let's talk about that more one-on-one. Now is the time for immigration. Now is the time. Freedom now. Let's see. We're gonna jump off. I'm gonna jump off in a moment, guys, because I have to get to my consultations. Freedom now, Alex. Hey there from Kenya. We had a testimonial yesterday involving a client from Kenya. You can check your inbox if you're a subscriber. If you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe today at McBeanlaw.com/subscribe. Freedom now, London. Let's see. Some of the questions are repeats. I have my adjustment of status, my AOS based on EAD, employment authorization, has been pending with the NBC for 7 months. Is it normal or something going on? You haven't received, you filed 7 months ago for adjustment of status, and your EAD hasn't come through yet. That is a bit lengthy. The question is this a VAWA case? If it's a VAWA case, then that's expected because the work permit does take several months in a VAWA case. I'd want to know what kind of case this is. But if it's a marriage case, then I would say that's not normal. At least that's not what we've been seeing, okay? Friends, I'm going to jump off now. I'll see you again on Friday between 5 p.m. and 6:30 p.m. Eastern for a discussion about this week's news. Contact us at 888-462-4006 or at McBeanlaw.com and request a consultation with us. Now is the time for immigration. We're excited and eager to meet with you. You can come to our office or you can meet with us virtually by video, by telephone. We're here for you, and I'd love to see you here. Thanks so much, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.